Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Happy Monday. I hope you are having a really good one so far. It's really beautiful where I am, so I'm hoping that it's good where you are. This was one of those little throw together things today, but I wanted to talk to you about just some differences in wordings. If you know me, you know how I am about words matter and what they mean. So let me just make sure. Yeah, we're on live. But I'm excited today to talk to you about the difference between healthy and alkaline eating. And here in just a minute, I'm going to bring my friend Detra on to talk about this with us and just have that conversation. Because I've said it probably a bajillion times. I know that a lot of us say, well, I eat pretty healthy. I don't eat that bad. I eat healthily. And what I didn't know is that there was a difference between healthy and even clean eating. That's another a word that we use is clean. But what's the difference between healthy, clean, and what's the difference between alkaline? And so I'm going to go ahead and bring my friend Detra on. Um, there she is, just to kind of talk about this because this is something that she has been talking about for a while, and she's really been learning pretty deeply about this. And my husband and I actually watched Kiss the Ground last night. And if you have not watched that about soil health, I highly recommend that you go out and watch it. It was completely eye opening. I think I sat there with my jaw open half of the time. And so, can you hear me okay, Deetra?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure. So I was just telling them how we were going to talk today about the difference between what we consider to be healthy, what we consider to be clean food, and what we consider to be alkaline, and that there is a difference when we're talking about the health inside of our bodies,
Yeah.
and what that entails, what that looks like, and why does it matter? Why should we even be thinking about it? If I think I eat healthy, isn't that enough, right? Isn't that enough? So, I don't know. Maybe you could just explain a little bit of difference between what healthy looks like in our language now versus the shift to alkaline and what that looks like.
Yeah. So thanks for having me. And I'm speaking on this from a personal experience, not just what I've learned being in school to be a practitioner and being with our superfood company, but I've had to shift so much in the last year because I was one of those people. I'm eating healthy. I really was very kind of proud in that we were eating 100% organic over the last 9 years. But with that, I still had some standard American diet mindsets in that I was eating foods that were not alkaline. And alkalinity in the body is really the state of your body not having inflammation in an environment in your internal terrain where dis-ease cannot present or survive. And so it's essentially your internal terrain is working for you. Your lymphatic system is moving and flowing. The inside of your body should look like a lake, not a swamp. Like you should want to swim around in there. You shouldn't look in there and be like, "Oh, I'm not going in there." Like it should be clean. And what the foods that we put into our body impact that environment. And so when we eat alkaline foods like fruits and vegetables and things that really leave the body within 30 minutes to an hour, that creates that flow. When we eat foods that are more acidic in nature, it stagnates our lymphatic system. So even if we think that those foods are healthy, if they're clogging our intestines, if they're leaving behind an acidic ash, because foods that are acidic, like processed foods and eggs and dairy and animal products, those leave behind an acidic ash. And your body just can't flow with that. And so what happens is it gets backed up and then it becomes an acidic environment. So on the outside, maybe the results are you're getting what you want in terms of maybe weight loss or, feeling like you're looking your ideal weight. But the internal terrain, if that is not healthy, those gains on the outside won't last and you will have problems present in other ways.
I love what you said just there because a lot of us equate, oh, I'm losing weight, I'm losing inches. We equate that to getting healthy. And skinny doesn't necessarily mean healthy inside of the body.
No.
And I've heard you say it before that the last thing that the body thinks about is shedding the weight. It's more concerned about functioning in the, our organs functioning properly.
Mhm.
Um, I have a question someone's going to is asking, so I want to go ahead and say that right here. Is there any sound truth to eat by your body type?
Mm. Well, I didn't think we were going to go here today. But yes, there is. I don't want to go too in depth with it, but I will say that in primarily our body is designed to eat fruits and vegetables. In nature, if we didn't have a stove, if we didn't have silverware, if we didn't have salt and pepper, in nature, if we only had what was available to us, our fingers and our teeth, which are not sharp, what we would reach for would be fruits and vegetables. We would not pick up a tiger and eat it raw. We would not pick up, we wouldn't, because that
Mm,
requires preparation. It requires us to, to get it to where it's soft enough for us to be able to break that down, because our teeth can't do that for us. It requires us to do a lot of seasoning and marinating and preparing it in a way that our bodies can digest it. And
mhm,
that is because our bodies really can't handle a large amount of the way we eat. So this is not really a discussion of should I eat the meat or should I not eat the meat. It's more of a discussion, what is your body telling you
mhm.
about what you're eating? And
Yeah.
if you could only eat what was accessible to you, which is this and these, which foods would you naturally gravitate towards? So there's been a lot of, like, we're carnivores or we're herbivores, but I think we're actually frugivores
Mm.
because of the design of our teeth. They're rounded.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, okay. So that brings us to another question.
Mm.
There's these blood type diets that are out there. Eat according to your blood type. And,
Mm.
for example, Daryl is the one asking the question. He says he's O positive and he's, been taught and told that he should eat mostly protein because of his blood type. So, what are your thoughts on that?
So, in general, regardless of our blood type, our bodies need amino acids to build. They need amino acids. We should have 20. So there are 11 that our body naturally makes for us, the other 9 we have to supplement. And we can't get them from any other source. We have to bring in some type of plant source, because aminos are a simple structure, protein is a complex structure, and our bodies can't break down complex structures. So the amino acids are what help our bodies to build and to repair. They are what help our bodies to stay strong. And so when we're doing a lot of protein, it's very hard for our bodies to break that down, and it actually deteriorates a lot of things in our body over time. And if we say had protein breakfast, lunch, and dinner, we can really only absorb between 11 to 36 grams of protein max. So if I had 100% of protein in a day, my body can only absorb 11 to 36% of that, regardless of the blood type.
Wow. Wow. And a lot of meat is very acidic in the body. So when we're talking about going from healthy eating to what the model has been given to us most of our lives, the food pyramid, to alkaline eating, when we're eating large consumptions of animal products, that actually moves us into more of an acidic state. And, just the things that I've been learning, and I know you probably have more to say, but um, just that acid in our body is part of what moves us into dis-ease in our bodies, and the things that we struggle with fibromyalgias and diabetes and even some emotional things. Our bodies get into an acidic state, and we end up having these problems and these issues pop up.
Yeah. Yeah. It's because we're taking in a large amount of things that our body can't digest. So we're getting a lot of inflammation from dead things. And I read a quote once that if you want your body to feel alive, you eat things that are alive. You can't eat dead things and expect your body to thrive long term in that
Mhm.
environment. And so, even if you are going to do that, it's fine. If you still want to eat, animal products and things like that, spacing it out so
Mhm.
that you're allowing your body time to really digest and push the waste out before adding in something else. I equate it to like your garbage disposal in your kitchen, right? If you put your breakfast in there and then you go back and you add your lunch and then you go back and you add your dinner, but you don't turn it on for the garbage disposal to move that through, it gets clogged, and what happens? It stinks and it might break. And the same thing happens in our bodies because our bodies get backed up. And
Yeah.
what we are not eliminating, we accumulate. And so we keep that internally inside in the terrain, and it leads to a lot of inflammation, a lot of acidosis. So the difference between healthy versus alkaline or clean is which model allows the flow in your body of moving things out, of cleaning your cells so that they can turn over and regenerate. We're not designed to age as rapidly as we age. We're not designed for our bodies to have as much pain and inflammation and sickness as what they're having. It is a direct result of our lifestyle and the foods we're taking in. So when we say that we're eating healthy, but our bodies don't show the fruit of that,
Mhm.
I think there's a disconnect. If we're eating healthy, then we shouldn't wake up with aches and pains. If we're eating healthy, we shouldn't have these chronic headaches. If we're eating healthy, we shouldn't need all these visits to the doctor and all these medications for a diet that is healthy, right? Because our
Mhm.
food really is our medicine, and the quality of our food determines the quality of our life. And so I think it's just a pause and question to say, if it's really healthy like what they say, then why doesn't my body reflect that?
Yeah, I that you said something that I love. I talk about flow a lot, even with discerning, and if you're more prophetic, keeping that filter clean for the Holy Spirit to kind of flow through. I think the same thing is true with our bodies. We're not meant to be stopped up. We're not If we're not pooping 2 or 3 times a day, we're
Stop that.
stopped up. I mean, I used to think that was totally normal, going once a
Yep.
day or once every couple of days. And
Hmm.
it's not normal at all. It's a sign that there's something going on in our
Stagnation.
body. And
Hmm.
the fruit of it, we're constantly talking about in, Christian communities, judging the fruit of something. And I think that can apply here as well. If what we're putting into our bodies is not supporting, then where's the fruit? If we're having all of these diseases and aches and pains, and like you said, the fruit never lies.
Right.
It never lies.
Right.
And it's so true throughout the Lord's word, and it even applies to our bodies. And so I really love that you brought that up.
Hmm.
So if we're trying to move to an alkaline state, I don't want to keep you too long, but if we're trying to move to an alkaline state, what are some suggestions you have?
So moving to an alkaline state would mean first to look at what you take in on a daily basis, honestly, and to determine, is this acidic? Because there's two choices with what we eat. There's acidic and there's alkaline. That's kind of it. Like there's no gray. So for me, when I started making this switch, because um, I love to work out, I love to build muscle, And so my goals for eating, even with eating organically, was how can I get more muscle? And so I'm a big advocate of intermittent fasting. I think that that is really healthy for, cleansing the body and all of that stuff, but it has to be done well. But one of the ways that I was doing my intermittent fasting is I would drink coffee until 10, 11, or 12 because it's an appetite suppressant. And so I was numbing my body by drinking coffee, but coffee is also a neurotoxin and it's also highly acidic. It's highly acidic in nature because it creates an opioid drip in the brain. So your brain's like, oh, I need it. Well, what else does that? Cocaine, marijuana, right? And so,
Sugar.
but it's acidic. So, getting rid of things that are acidic, moving more towards things that are hydrating, melons, um, grapes, red grapes, preferably oranges, anything that's going to give natural hydration into the body, adding lemon to your water because lemon is a natural cleaner. It really cleans up the cells. And then maybe moving into vegetables in the afternoon. It's great when you can do raw cucumbers, carrots, things like that. And then in the evening, a sensible cooked meal and getting rid of the processed foods. So, as a rule of thumb, generally, if it is in a box or if it's in a package, I'm not talking like frozen organic fruit or frozen organic vegetables. I'm talking like, you know what I'm talking about, the packaged stuff that has all
The
the
TV dinners.
yes, that. If it's in a box or if it's frozen, generally speaking, that's going to be processed. It's going to have a lot of things that are helping that food to keep for long periods of time. That's not an alkaline food. And so just making some of those really simple changes, even if you just did fruit until 10 or 11 or noon, for the first part of your morning, your body does so much cleaning at night when you're resting just to push out some of the waste that happens. That would be a great place to start. Drinking lots of lemon throughout the day. And then for people that are like, you know what, I really want to kind of do an overhaul, I would add in our superfoods. I would add in our organic superfood regimen because it's very nourishing. You're going to detox from pesticides and chemicals and toxins, and you're really going to get some good gut repair. And a lot of what we crave that leads us to have that acidic diet is because we have parasites in the body. And so when we can cleanse those out and shut them up, then we can listen to what our body is actually telling us. I remember when I was keto and I was like, I would see my kids eating fruit and I was like, oh man, that looks so good. But like, I can't eat that because I just have to have the veggies and the protein. But when I started eating fruit again, it was like my body was like if you've been running on a really hot Arkansas day, we don't have that here in Minnesota right now. But if you've been running on a really hot day and you get that drink of water, your body is just like, oh my gosh, thank you. That's what my body was like when I started eating fruits again. It's like I came home to myself. Like my body woke up and was like, thank you, because my cells are depleted. And like I was really not getting what I needed. And I was very, very small, which there's not been a lot of shift in my body since I changed to an alkaline diet. But what I notice is that my body feels like it has energy throughout the day. I do not have that brain fogginess, and I don't have like this. I had really dry skin because I wasn't hydrating well, which is what fruits do. And so there's a lot of really simple changes that we can make, and fruits are not the enemy. So much of the standard American diet is like fruits are bad, they have lots of fructose. I mean, fruits are what your body uses to thrive. That is cellular ATP, and it's a really simple change to make with moving over to an alkaline diet. And so many people would find a lot of ease in some of the symptoms that they feel if they could make that simple shift.
Yeah, it's made a huge difference in my body just with energy alone, and
Mm-hmm.
my skin was really dry, and I'd always have this phlegm, and I'm like just so many things that have shifted from just moving and shifting my diet, and then adding the superfoods in was just like a leveling up for me that I did not even know that I needed. And So I just thank you for coming on and sharing all of your wealth of knowledge. And if anyone has been listening and they want to know more about shifting, you need some help on shifting your diet into more alkaline choices, I have some good resources for you, some information that can help you start moving in that direction. And then also, if you want to do that leveling up and add in the superfoods and get rid of those parasites and shifting that inflammation out of your body and just really supporting the body that God gave us, um, and do it well, just let me know. If you're on Detra's page and you're listening, and get with her and ask her what she has to help, because we have solutions, we really do. And I cannot believe that I can say that, because I was looking for solutions for so long and it just seemed to never come. And the proof is in the pudding. I mean, it's almost a year into this, and usually by now I stop something. Usually by now I'm like, this is not really helping or working. I'm going to move on to something else. And all I've done is become more and more passionate about it and more convinced that this is a solution that the Lord brought across my plate,
Yeah.
to help me support this body that He gave me. So if that's you, let us know. We'd love to help you customize what will work for you and in your needs and your health goals. So
Yeah.
okay. Well, thank you, Detra, for coming on and spending 21 minutes with us.
You're Oh, Erica,
Yeah.
I would love to, or I can send it to you. I'd love to drop the fruit myth in the comments for people to be able to read about that, because I
Yeah.
think it's real hard when you've been taught that fruit is bad.
Yeah.
And so, the more information people have, they can make an informed decision. We study to show ourselves approved. So I would
Yes.
love to drop that in the
Yeah.
comments.
Please do.
Okay.
Yeah, I would love to have that. And I actually also, I have a chart for alkaline foods,
Mm,
fruits and vegetables, because some fruits are more alkaline than others. Some vegetables are more alkaline than others. And so if that's something you'd like to have, let me know in the comments, and I'm happy to send that to you as
that's great.
well. So you can start shifting. But yeah, please put that link in there for me.
Okay, we'll do.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thanks. Goodbye.